The rain had not stopped for 3 days. The small town of Ridgefield was drowning in gray skies and muddy roads, its people buried in silence and struggle. Among them was Ethan Cole, a single father who lived in a tiny wooden house at the edge of town. Life had not been kind to him. His wife had died 5 years ago, leaving behind their son, Liam, who was now 9. Ethan worked long hours at a mechanic shop, earning just enough to pay rent and keep food on the table. That cold evening, Ethan was driving home in his old pickup truck when he saw the wreckage. A sleek black car had crashed into a tree off the side of the road, smoke curling from its hood. He stopped without thinking, heart pounding. Inside the car was a boy around Liam's age, unconscious with blood on his forehead. The driver, a man in a suit, was frantically shouting into his phone. "Please, you have to get here now." "He's not breathing," the man cried. Ethan ran over. "What happened?" The man looked at him with desperate eyes. "He's my boss's son. He stopped breathing a few minutes ago. The ambulance is on the way, but I don't think he'll make it." Ethan's hands shook as he checked the boy's pulse. Nothing. Without hesitation, he laid the boy on the ground and began chest compressions. He counted under his breath, pressing harder, harder until his arms felt like they would snap. The rain poured harder, drenching them both. Then he breathed into the boy's mouth once, twice, and suddenly the driver sobbed in relief. Sirens wailed in the distance. Ethan stepped back, shaking. "He's breathing. Keep him warm." The ambulance arrived moments later. Paramedics rushed the boy inside. One of them looked at Ethan. "You saved him, sir. If you hadn't acted, he wouldn't have made it." Ethan nodded, exhausted, and walked back to his truck. He had no idea who the boy was. He didn't know that this single act of courage would turn his life upside down. 3 days later, Ethan's phone rang at work. The voice on the other end was calm, but firm. "Mr. Nicole, this is from St. Helena Private Hospital. The family of the boy you helped would like to meet you. They'll be sending transportation." Ethan hesitated. Transportation? But before he could ask more, the lion went dead. That evening, as the sky turned orange, the unmistakable sound of helicopter blades filled the air. People poured out of shops to see it land near the town square. A tall woman in a gray coat stepped out, her face hidden behind dark sunglasses. She walked straight toward Ethan. "Mr. Cole?" she asked. "Yes," he said, uneasy. "I'm Elena Whitmore, assistant to Mr. Richard Hale," she said. "You saved his son's life. Mr. Hale would like to see you." Ethan followed her into the helicopter, his heart racing. He heard of Richard Hale, the billionaire behind Hale Industries, a man whose wealth was the stuff of local legend. Now Ethan was flying toward his mansion. When they arrived, he couldn't believe his eyes. The estate looked like something out of a dream, rolling lawns, marble fountains, and guards at every gate. Inside, it was quiet, almost eerily so. Elena led him into a room where a boy sat on a bed hooked up to monitors. The boy smiled when he saw Ethan. "You're the man who saved me," he said softly. Ethan nodded. "Just did what anyone would do." Behind the boy, a tall man in a dark suit stood silently. His face was tired, his eyes red. This was Richard Hale. "Mr. Cole," he said, stepping forward. "The doctors told me that if you hadn't acted, my son, my only son, would be gone. I owe you everything." Ethan shifted uncomfortably. "You don't owe me anything, sir. I'm just glad he's okay." But Hale shook his head. "You don't understand. My son had been in and out of hospitals for months before this accident. None of them could figure out what was wrong with him. He wasn't supposed to make it to his next birthday. And yet, after you brought him back, his condition changed." "Changed?" Ethan asked. "The doctors say his heart is stronger, his immune system is responding to treatment again. It's as if somehow you gave him something they couldn't." Ethan had no answer. He looked at the boy who smiled again, and something inside him stirred, a strange warmth he couldn't explain. That night, Hale invited Ethan to dinner. The mansion glowed with candlelight and servants moved silently across the marble flue, but amidst all the luxury, there was tension. The strange woman, Elena, watched Ethan closely as if studying him. After dinner, she approached him privately. "You should know something," she said quietly. The boy was clinically dead for 2 minutes. When he came back, he kept saying your son's name. Ethan froze. "Liam." "But how would he?" He said, "Liam told me to come back." Ethan's heart pounded. His son had been born with a heart defect. Doctors had told Ethan he might not live past childhood. For years, Ethan prayed every night for a miracle. Lately, Liam had been having fewer symptoms, as if something had changed. "I don't understand," Ethan whispered. "Neither do I," Elena said. "But Mr. Hale believes something connects your son and his." The next morning, Richard Hale offered Ethan a fortune enough to change his life forever. But Ethan refused. "I didn't do it for money," he said. "I did what I hoped someone would do for my boy." Hale nodded, speechless. Before Ethan left, the billionaire said quietly, "If you ever need help, you have my word. You won't be alone." Weeks passed. The news spread everywhere. A billionaire's son saved by a poor mechanic. Ethan went back to his quiet life, though it didn't feel the same anymore. One evening, as he tucked Liam into bed, the boy looked up at him and whispered, "Dad, that boy you saved. I saw him." Ethan froze. "What do you mean?" "In my dream, Liam said he was lost and crying. I told him to go back, that I told him his dad still needed him." Ethan's breath caught. "And what happened then?" He smiled, Liam said sleepily. "And then I woke up." Outside in the distance, Ethan heard the faint hum of a helicopter passing through the night. He walked to the window and watched it disappear into the clouds, his heart heavy but full. Maybe some things couldn't be explained by science or money. Maybe sometimes miracles were born from love and from a single act of kindness that reached farther than anyone could see.